Hello and welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I am StevieB, still on Next Island, video number 5 of 5 for month number 1 of the 2022 Ascension Armor Community Recognition whatchamacallit. I am hoping to start off the first of the 5 videos for next month with actually being able to tell you guys that I've gotten my armor from last year. So we will hope, since I'm shooting these videos more or less back to back, trying to get them all in while I've got a few hours left in my weekend before I go back to work for the week and start this horrendous day-night thing. Obviously, Socrates has not yet been online, nor has he had a chance to see my message, but we will see what is up, because by the time that I get done with this video, there should be plenty of time for him to get back to me, for us to meet up, all that good jazz, and hopefully we'll get this all straightened out, so by the time that we start in for next month's videos, we're actually at 2 pieces of armor out of 7. So while I was shooting a video, one of my society mates has actually been going through my YouTube videos. He's a rather new player, and he was like, hey, you shot a video last year on Next Island, coincidentally enough, and you said something in that video and I can't find any more information about it, so could you help me out? So I figured, since he mentioned that, this would be a good time to take that up. So as you guys may remember, if not, I'm going to be shooting another video about it in the next couple of months. If you go to Tanzanite View, there is a mission where you can construct a certain number of successful attempts of Lysterium, and you can get a tailoring reward, which is awesome because it's one of the rarest skills in game. In fact, last year when I made the video, I did the math, and if you had done that mission every single day and then for a year and then shipped out all of the skills and sold them, it would have been the entire demand for tailoring school for a full year, but I think it would have been something worth about $1,000 US, 10,000 PED at the time. Now, obviously, that would have been one person providing the market with an entire year's supply of tailoring skills, but theoretically, the math worked out where it was worth something like 10,000 PED, quote unquote, theoretical. So, in using the Lysterium blueprint, you need 2 things. You need Vibrant Sweat and you need Lysterium. And I was actually going to go do this mission while I was here, but stupid me, I left literally everything on Cali. I wasn't actually planning on coming here today. I was planning on doing all of this later this week. I was headed to the Cronin, and several people needed EarnPed.com withdrawal, so I dipped over to Next Island instead. I figured while I was here I would knock out these first 5 videos. If you go to the Technician, where is it? Should be under materials. No, tailoring. Lysterium, you can get it out of the TT, but when you get it out of the TT, keep in mind that the quality rating is going to be 0.01. It's going to be bare minimum quality rating. It's not going to be a 100 QR blueprint, right? But it is unlimited. It is available at the trade terminal here on Next Island. It requires 8 Lysterium and 20 Vibrant Sweat per attempt. So yes, you can get a brand new one and you can raise the quality rating as you go. You can also get these things off auction pretty cheap on Cali a lot of the time. So obviously if someone bought one for 69 PED, that would have had to be a quality rating 100, unless they were a complete idiot. You can get them in mild quality ratings of 40, 50, 60, pretty cheap, probably around the 10 PED area. You're going to pay a little bit more for one that's 100 QR. While I'm at the trade terminal, I'm just going to throw it out here that they've got some pretty cool looking starter weapons. I'm not going to lie. If we look at miscellaneous and enhancer components, that's going to be the basic stuff. The heal tool isn't necessarily anything to brag about as far as looks go. Whenever you get to the scanner looks kind of cool. Now, I'm not big on scanning. It's not something I've done a lot of, but I like the look of it. The mining stuff we'll talk about later, because you will see these exhumers for sale. People will actually try and sell them for profit because they'll try and get one with a high tier rate. Is it necessarily worth it? No, nor does it look super cool. But when you get to the weapons, check out the Claymore. Is that not sweet looking? So that's their version of a sword. Now remember, these are limited because they're the TT weapons, but this is the short blade. Is that not sweet looking? Now, not necessarily something that a higher level player would use in combat, But as far as decoration goes, and here's one of my favorites. Look at the Exo Fist. It's literally a robot fist. How sweet. And the cool thing is, you can buy these. And of course, they're limited, so you can always sell them back. You don't have to actually use them. But like if I want to put on my Exo Fist, bam, Exo Fist. Now imagine that with a Transformer helmet. How sweet would that be? Or if I want to pull out my Claymore, that is so wicked looking. Yeah, I'm totally keeping these. Crappy tier rate. Crappy tier rate. Crappy tier rate. But it doesn't matter because I didn't get them for that. I got them just because they're so sweet. Like, you don't... Like, I give it to them. The swords on Kali look okay, I guess. But these things just look so much better. I'm loving that Claymore. That Claymore is awesome. And since I'm not actually hitting anything, notice that the TT value isn't going down. No matter what I do, I can swing it all day long. As long as I don't actually hit a creature, as long as I'm just swinging it, TT value is not going to go anywhere. See? It's pretty sweet. Same with the Exo Fist. I can practice my boxing all day. Pretty cool looking. Anyway, so yeah, I'll be keeping those. So congratulations, Next Island just got money from me because again, they made something cool looking. As I said in the last video, it's a real cash economy game. You want things that you can sell for profit, and you want things that are cool looking that not everybody has. Now, yes, anybody can come get these out of the trade terminal, but most people don't. In fact, I guarantee you, I could take those right now back to Calypso, go to Twin Peaks, and I can probably sell all three of them for like TT plus 50%. Somebody will be like, dude, that's sweet, I don't care where you got it. And somebody's going to be like, well, it's a scam, they got it out of the trade terminal. Well, if you're willing to fly to Next Island and get it, more power to you. If you're not willing to fly, I promise it is a very long flight. There's plenty of people who would pay to not have to come get those that would like them. So anyway, back to what I was talking about, the Lysterium. So in the video I made, I had said that there was a way I was going to tell for new and low depot players to get the Lysterium they need on the cheap. At the time, it was hard to find a sweat circle on Next Island. Now you can find them here at Crystalline Peak pretty often. There's one going down there. I don't even think it's an event. I think it just started. With the community recognition programs, there will be more sweat circles coming online, and they will be easier to find. So that will make getting sweat pretty easy. Now, if you're still having trouble getting sweat, or if you don't want to collect it yourself, or if you're an idiot like me and forgot literally everything on Kali, including your sweat tool, a lot of these shot keepers out here, they do have sweat available for sale. Mind you, you are going to be paying a pretty low premium for it. However, if you're just trying to knock out the daily mission for your tailoring reward over at Tanzanite View, probably worth doing. Instead of bringing my sweat with me from Kali whenever I came last time, I just bought it while I was here. So if we go to auction, and we search for Lysterium, and we're looking here on planet, just on Next Island. Hold on one second, guys. Dog's getting sick. Okay, sorry about that. I don't know what she did, but she either ate something or got into something that did not agree with her. Poor little doodle. You alright? Come here, girl. Come here. Come here. Come here. She likes to play. She knows how to play. I taught her how to play so she can run mayhem for me. I guess she's not feeling good. Okay. Well, sorry about that, guys. So, if we look at Lysterium on auction, what we see is that we've got dark Lysterium. That's not what we want. We want regular Lysterium. So, we notice that we've got Lysterium ingots, and at the high end, we're looking 109% markup. On the low end, we're looking 102% markup. And if we look at the numbers here, on the high end, we can buy for as low as like a 30 PED TT value. High end, we would have to buy 150 PED TT value. Well, not everybody wants to buy 150 PED worth of Lysterium to go do a daily mission. Now, I guess if you were going to do this daily mission over like a 2-week period, then you could just buy all at once and have plenty of Lysterium for, you know, several days worth of the mission or several weeks worth of the mission. A lot of players don't have PED cards that big. A lot of players might only need, you know, 100 Lysterium or 200 Lysterium or 500 Lysterium to get them through a couple of, you know, days worth of that daily mission. So as a free or low depot player, how can you get your Lysterium at a cheaper rate? In fact, if we look at this right here, this is going to not give us a fair picture because this is the total. This is total for universe-wide, so this includes Cali. Well, obviously, Cali, people do buy much larger batches at much lower markups, right? So this is, and yeah, 14,000 PED worth of demand today alone. 114,000 PED worth of demand this week. So how can we get this cheaper? Well, the good news is that on Next Island, they also have these daily mining missions. So if we go to my mission log, I've actually still got one going, the daily multi-faction mission. Complete a daily mission based on your choice. And so I picked the mining mission, so I've got to drop 50 probes. Now 50 probes does not mean 50 probes. What that means is 50 drops. So depending on what finder you use, it might be much more than 50 probes. If I go to use my F106, each drop is going to be 20 to 30 or 10 to 20 probes. So when it says 50 probes, what it means is 50 drops. So if I go the cheapest way possible with my F106, that's 500 probes for 50 drops, right? Now you can use the TT finder, and a lot of people do. And these are the daily missions that give you the limited blueprints. I believe they're 5 clicks, and they're for some of the stuff that they made out of ancient Greece. And I believe, if I recall right, that I got that mission from Julia right here, Juliana. I don't know what this guy over here does, Frydor, but I believe when I got this mission, I got it right here from Juliana. And I believe there might be 2 or 3 places you can get this mission. Most of you should be fairly familiar with it. If not, it's in my older video for sure. So anyway, that being said, how do we get the Lysterium cheaper? Well, remember a couple of things. Other people are doing these missions right now because they're getting these blueprints, like this one right here. This was a blueprint that was redeemed from that mission. Somebody went in and they did one of those dailies, and they got this Voodoo Vest male blueprint limited with 3 clicks. Same one here. And this is where like the Mankini blueprint first came from for the limited version. There is an unlimited version of the Mankini blueprint out there. I happen to have one. There's also one for sale right outside at one of the shopkeepers. I haven't used it yet, but I do have the unlimited Mankini blueprint. So one of the ways that you can take advantage of knowing that these missions are out here is if you're going to be spending a good amount of time at Next Island and you're a free or low depot player, what are you probably going to be doing? Well, you are probably going to be at those sweat circles, right? So guess what you're going to be doing while you're at those sweat circles? You're not just going to be sweating, you're going to be socializing. Usually in local chat, you're going to be making friends, you're going to be seeing what everybody else is up to. So one of the things that you can do whenever you jump down with your 109 plus HP and you don't die is, as you're talking to all these other people, you can find out what they do. If you can get in good with a group of people here on Next Island that are here on a pretty regular basis, that are doing these daily missions, then as you're sitting there sweating, collecting the sweat you're going to need, because it's 20 sweat per attempt, you might be able to broker a deal with them to take the Lysterium that they get off their hands. Lysterium is a very, very common mining find. And Lysterium has a low TT value. That means that usually when you list Lysterium for sale on auction, you have to list a pretty good chunk of it all at once to make it worth it. So like you might have to list 1,000 Lysterium worth 30 PED to make the auction fee even worth it. Whereas with iron, you might be able to do, 40 iron bars and still make the numbers work out where it's worth doing because of the auction fee and the markup and all that. So knowing that Lysterium has a low TT value, knowing that it's something very common that is found when mining, knowing that there's also the added cost of refining it, knowing that there's a lot of people doing this daily mission to get these blueprints or doing this daily mission to get their skills up, if you can get in with a group of people that do those missions and say, hey, I would be willing to buy the unrefined Lysterium off of you and in smaller quantities. That way you don't have to try and come up with, 1,000 Lysterium ingots worth 30 PED to throw on auction all at once. You might be able to pick up 50 stones here, 60 stones there, 90 stones there. Or you might even be able to say, hey, I'll trade you sweat for them. If you don't have PED on hand, they might, since they're at a sweat circle, very likely they want sweat, right? So if they're out mining and they've only got, let's say 30 Lysterium stones. Well, that refines into 10 Lysterium ingots. That's nowhere near worth putting on auction because of the auction fee, right? So they might be willing to trade you Lysterium stones, unrefined, for sweat, or even Lysterium bars already refined for sweat, because you're getting low amounts they can't put on auction. Every time you start an auction, whether it sells or not, you have to pay that auction fee. So one of the big questions with a lot of the materials in game, especially if it has a low TT value, is how much of this do I have to sell all at once in order to have the markup overcome the auction fee? So for Lysterium, it's quite a big number because of the very, very low TT value and very, very low general markup, right? So that gives you an opportunity not just in socializing in sweat circles, but also in the trade channels. I can tell you personally, every time I went out and did one of those missions, my idea was I would start here at Crystalline Peak and I would run this way and I would just start dropping probes. And usually, let me show you the map to put this into perspective. So we're right here at this teleporter. Usually by the time I ran over to this teleporter here at Papu Village, the mission was almost done. So let me show you how quickly that is. It does not take very long at all. And I would do the mission, just drop probes like crazy, because I wasn't necessarily mining for markup. I knew I wasn't going to get enough markup out of the mining stuff that I got out of the ground to make it worth it. I was just trying to get enough resources out of the ground to not lose my butt entirely, right? I was really after that mission because I really wanted that blueprint, because that's where the money was for me. And it did very well for me, because at the time when I did that, hey, fruit. At the time when I did that, I was able to take those blueprints, I was able to craft them, I was able to sell the end items, and I was able to make a pretty little penny off of it. Not sure if that opportunity is still there or not. I would have to research it further. But I took a lot of the material that I got from the mining run, where I was pulling stuff up out of the ground, and I just threw it in the trade terminal, because it wasn't worth stacking up in storage, it wasn't worth throwing on auction, it wasn't worth refining, it just wasn't worth doing anything with. So the distance that you've just seen me run is pretty much about as far as it would take for me to actually finish that daily mission. It was not that difficult to do. So as you can see, you're not going to get a lot of stuff out of the ground in 50 probe drops. In general, if you can get 1/3 of your drops to result in a hit, you're doing good. So out of 50 drops, you're looking at about 15-ish to 20 hits, give or take, being ideal. And most people come in well under that. Most people come in at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 drops whenever they're doing those 50 drops. So if you've had a bad mining run and you end up with just the smallest bit of Lysterium and the smallest bit of other stuff, you're just going to throw it in the trade terminal anyway, and somebody offers to buy it off you for TT value, and you're helping somebody else out at a sweat circle that you know, you're pretty likely to do that. It's not something I would likely do for just anybody, but if it was somebody that was a friend of mine, that was in my society, or that I spent a lot of time with talking to at a sweat circle, and I knew specifically that's something they needed, it's a pretty easy way to get your hands on it. And you can do the same in the chat channels. If you use the Next Island Trade channel, I believe it is hashtag Next Island. I believe that's the official trade channel for Next Island, and the local chat too. Just put some ads out there like, hey, trying to get list on the cheap, will trade sweat for unrefined list. You would be surprised how many people will probably take you up on that, especially if they're out doing those mining challenges. But like I said, it's a lot easier if instead of just spamming the chat channels all the time, just get to know the people that sweat circles, get to know the people that do those mining challenges, and if they don't want to stack up a ton of Lysterium before they sell it, then they might be able to sell it to you on the cheap, or they might be able to just trade it to you for sweat or something. Like I said, if they're at a sweat circle, they're probably after the sweat too, right? Because they're probably doing some of the same things that you're doing. They're trying to get by in game. They're probably a free or low depot player. So it makes it a little bit easier since you're trading basic items for basic items, not trying to trade sweat for a mothership, right? That's never going to happen ever in the history of never, ever, 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 ever. But whenever you're doing basic stuff for basic stuff, that usually makes it a little bit easier, and that avoids them having to come up with this ridiculously large amount of Lysterium that they're probably going to have to stack up over days and days and days of doing that daily mining mission before they can even throw it on auction. In fact, I will show you guys before I end the video. We'll go ahead and call it good because I've got to get to bed. I've got to work this evening. So if I go into my storage, where's my Lysterium at? So I've got 636 Lysterium. That's actual bars, not stones. If I can get the auctioneer to load, that'd be great. Are we glitching for some reason? Ah, Waffles is here. Hi, Waffles. I guess we're glitching. Okay, anyway, point being, so I've got 636 Lysterium with a TT value of 19 ped, right? Now to get 636 Lysterium, I needed 3 times that many stones. So while I was out mining, I would have had to have gotten almost 1,900 stones, or just over 1,900 Lysterium stones, in order to refine them into that many ingots. So if I was to actually sell these on auction, and I was to start it off, let's see, what are they going for? Like 108 on this planet. So if I raise it from the TT value of 19.08 just to 20 ped, so just if I raise it 92 pec, that puts my markup at 104.82%. Well, there's an auction fee of over a half a ped. So for me to just make this 92 pec would cost me 54 pec. So I would be wasting a lot of time and energy tying up 19 ped to make what is essentially a half a ped. And if I try and actually make a whole ped, then it's going to raise the markup to 110%. So now you see why a lot of these people are starting off with 30 ped batches, is because it makes no sense really to throw 19 ped worth of Lysterium on auction. I would be better off TTing it. Yeah, why waste 7 days of my time to try and make a half a ped? That is incredibly insane, right? And a lot of it is due to simply the very, very low TT value mixed with the very, very low markup value. So there are a lot of players in game that are not going to want to get, 3,000 stones together to convert them into 1,000 bars to have 30 ped worth of TT value to try and make a whopping ped or two. So it will be not difficult at all to get people willing to work with you on their Lysterium. So if that is your big barrier to entry as far as the Tanzanite View mission that gives the tailoring reward, if you can collect your own sweat, then I guarantee you can collect your own Lysterium through a little bit of networking, a little bit of advertising, and a little bit of finagling. Even if you don't have ped, they might be after sweat also. they might not be doing the same mission you are. So, that being said, don't think that everybody is doing the exact same thing you are just because they're at the same sweat circle that you're at. So that is the way you can get Lysterium on the cheap. If you were a new or low depot player, take advantage of the fact that it's got a low TT value, a low markup, and when you combine those two things, it makes it incredibly unprofitable to put on auction in low amounts. And there's a lot of players, especially using that daily mining mission, getting low amounts. Use that all to work in your favor. If you do not know what mission I'm talking about at Tanzanite View for the tailoring skill and Lesser Elysian, I will be covering that in another video. Yes, I covered it a year ago. However, I need to update the information in that video with new statistics, and I want to see how it is stacking up compared to some of the other new stuff going on Next Island. So we'll be covering that in future videos as well. So for now, I hope that helps you out. I hope if you're new or low depot and you're needing Lysterium while on Next Island, maybe this kind of points you in the right direction. The negotiation part is going to be up to you guys. So is the socialization and getting to know people. But that's all part of the game, right? So, sip, smack, smack from everybody at EarnPed.com. I've been StevieB. If you guys want to help support us, head over to EarnPed.com, because when you earn, we earn. That is by far the best way to help support us. Also, hit that little bell icon, subscribe, hit the like button, because there's plenty of haters out there hitting the dislike button. And since this is video number 5 of 5, let's see if I get the 2 armor pieces I will now be entitled to. My videos easily get 10 likes. They easily get 100 views. That happens within about an hour of me posting. And if Next Island does indeed keep up their end of the bargain and give me the armor piece from last year and the one that I just earned from this year, I'll keep making videos. They've done a lot of good things. There's a lot of good information here that can help out a lot of players, and I think a lot more people will actually come to Next Island and start doing some of these things now that the loot mix is right, now that it's actually profitable to be here. Even if it's something as basic as going to the trade terminal and getting cool looking weapons and being able to take them back to Cali and sell them just because they look freaking ridiculously cool. There's a lot of people that will pay a small markup on those because of the fact that they don't have to come all the way here. There's also a lot of people that will complain about how it's a total scam, but that is a video for another day. So, we thank you all for the support. We will let you know how it goes as soon as we hear back from Socrates, and we will go from there. Hopefully, we will see more videos from Next Island in the coming weeks. Take care, guys.